Look, I know, no one likes ads. I don't either. So I'll keep this really simple. If this podcast brings you calm, if it helps you reset, or even just makes you feel a little more human each week, there is a way to support it. It's called Calm It Down Deeper. You will get early access to episodes, daily morning affirmations every weekday, and then just the quiet knowing that you're helping keep this going. It means a lot. Yes, I want to bring on guests. Yes, I want to host live meditations. Yes, I even want to trade favorite childhood snacks and talk about nothing in particular. I mean, that would be amazing, hopefully, right? But I'm trying. As an artist, as a composer, as a podcaster, doing all of the above while also being a husband and a dad and a human. I'm trying. So if this podcast has helped you, maybe this is your way to help it back. Head over to calmitdownpodcast.com and join the deeper community. And if now is not the right time, that's okay. We'll find those childhood snacks one of these days. Thanks. And now, on with the show. Thank you, by the way. So I want you to imagine that you're 8 years old and you're standing in the grocery store checkout line. The card gets declined. I know, it's happened to all of us. I mean, it's probably just a bank error, right? I mean, these things do happen. But you watch your parents' face change. Their shoulders, they tense. Embarrassment settles in, right? And somehow it settles into you too. You don't know it yet, but you have just inherited something. Not a keepsake, not a recipe, but a quiet belief that security is fragile. That fear is something that you're meant to carry. But then fast forward, like years later, right? I mean, life looks different and bills are paid and savings are stable. And still there's that familiar flicker. That moment before the card clears, you hold your breath. Because the body remembers, right? Even when the story isn't yours. So today we're talking about the kind of anxiety that we never chose, but we still carry. The kind that found its way into our nervous system before we even knew it had a name. And then how do we gently begin to let it go? I'm Chad Lawson, and let's calm it down in 3, 2, 1. Here's something that is rarely said. Anxiety is contagious. It is. Not like a cold, or you remember who gave it to you, usually kids. More like a hum or melody that you start repeating without even realizing, right? Or a rhythm that you internalize because someone else lived by it. We absorb anxiety from the people who raised us, who loved us, who lived beside us, because their fears become the background noise of our lives, right? Their coping mechanisms became our default settings. And because it happened gradually, invisibly, we rarely question where it came from. I mean, think about the messages that shaped who you are. Not the spoken ones, but the ones hidden between the lines of conversation. Maybe there was always a triple check on the locks before bed, right? You learned that the world isn't safe, even when it appears to be, right? Or maybe there was financial fear, even when there was enough. You learned that security could disappear at any moment. Maybe you watch someone take on everyone else's problems, right? And then that boundaries, that mean distance. But you've learned that love meant making yourself smaller, right? That setting boundaries meant pushing people away. None of these were lessons on purpose, truly. But children learn by what they see in their environment. And what you saw became the blueprint, right? So the tricky part about inherited anxiety is how natural it feels. It lives in your inner voice. It blends with your personality, right? You say, I've always been anxious. But pause. Think about this. Have you? Or did you learn early that worry was the background noise of belonging? Because some fears aren't born in you. They're handed down. And sometimes simply noticing that can loosen something. When you realize this fear never truly began with you, you can begin the quiet work of giving it back. You've probably heard the body keeps the score, right? Well, inherited anxiety, it doesn't just live in your mind. It finds its home in your body. Your nervous system was trained, without your permission, to anticipate what others feared. Right? So like, here, let me show you. Maybe your stomach goes into knots when there's raised voices, even playful ones. Yep. Maybe your heart races when someone's late, even when it doesn't affect you. Or maybe you hold your breath during decisions, waiting for permission that you don't actually need. Your body is running old code. It learned what danger looked like, even when it wasn't yours to be afraid of. But here's the compassionate truth. Are you listening? Are you ready? Your nervous system was trying to protect you. It just never got the update that things are different now. So we have to recognize what's yours, what is now. How do you know if what you're feeling is truly yours? Well, you start by getting curious, not judgmental, just gently curious. So you ask yourself, when did this particular fear show up? Does someone in my family carry this same worry? Does this fear match my actual experience, or does it feel out of place? I mean, if you're deeply afraid of being a burden, but no one has ever said you are, it might not be yours, right? Or if you panic about money despite being responsible and secure and savvy, that fear may have been passed down. I want to be clear. This is not about invalidating your feelings, because they matter, obviously. But naming their origin, it gives you a choice whether to keep carrying or releasing. And this brings me to the point of the gentle art of returning. Because breaking the chain doesn't mean rejecting those who came before you. I want to make sure that's really understood. Not at all. They were likely carrying weight that wasn't theirs either. So have some grace. This is not about blame. It's not. Let me show you this. Think of the fear as something physical. Maybe a coat or a stone or a letter that you never wrote. Now think about the person who first passed whatever this is down. You don't need to picture their face, just their presence, okay? And try to see them with compassion. And then I want you to say, either silently or out loud, "Thank you for trying to keep me safe. But I don't need this anymore. I'm going to love you and take care of myself in a new way." And then gently set that object down. This is not abandonment, it's release. And you're choosing love without inheriting fear. Now, with this, We now have to build new patterns. The beauty in this process is that you get to decide what comes next. It's entirely up to you. You can't rewrite what was passed down, but you can write what's passed forward. So this week, notice one anxiety pattern that feels familiar and the way that you would respond to conflict. Okay, think about money, for instance. What happens inside when plans suddenly change financially? So instead of reacting the way that you always have, pause, take a breath, and ask, what would I do here if I wasn't carrying someone else's fear? Try that just once. That's how the pattern shifts. Okay? Little by little, not all at once. Your body may not trust the new way, just so you know. And that's okay, because old habits are just the body's way of saying, I remember what used to keep us safe, right? Used to. When those patterns show up, you don't need to panic. You can speak to your body like a friend. I know you're trying to help, but it's okay now. We're not there anymore. And that's how safety becomes something new. Not because danger never existed, but because peace is being practiced now in a safe space. So as we close, hear me when I say this. You are not destined to carry what was never yours. I'm going to say that again. You are not destined to carry what was never yours. You can honor where you came from while choosing something softer for yourself. Breaking the chain of inherited anxiety, it's not about turning away. It's about turning forward with open eyes and an open heart. The fear that you inherited was never yours. But that peace that follows, that gets to be yours entirely. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for living. And until next time, be kind to your mind. And join me again as we calm it down. To find more episodes of Calm It Down, see where I may be appearing in your area, or just simply want to know where to send me some chocolate chip cookies, visit calmitdownpodcast.com. This podcast was written and produced by yours truly, Chad Lawson, composer, pianist, and nationally recognized Sweet Tooth. The views, expressions, and techniques in this episode are of my personal opinion and not intended, nor should they, serve as a substitute for medical advice or diagnosis rendered to you by your individual doctor or other healthcare provider. Only a licensed physician should evaluate your situation, provide a diagnosis, or render other medical advice to you. And you should only act upon the advice of this physician. Now, I'm an extreme empath by nature, but my profession is that of a composer and pianist, not a licensed therapist or physician. I hear from thousands of listeners how my music has helped them through various stages of emotional needs, and I simply want to offer this in future podcast episodes to aid those needs. So to find a list of licensed professionals in your area, please visit calmitdownpodcast.com. And if you've enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review, or better yet, share it with a friend. While it takes less than 60 seconds to do, its impact will last for years to come, as every little bit helps in growing the awareness and the importance of mental and emotional health. Thank you for listening. Thank you for living. And until next time, be kind to your mind and join me again as we calm it down.